African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the Special Military Operation as of September 4, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the Special Military Operation. Units of the North Troop Group improved their tactical position, defeated formations of 2 mechanized brigades, an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a territorial defense brigade, a border detachment of the Ukrainian Border Service, and a National Guard regiment in the areas of the settlements Chernetskoye, Alexivka, Unikovka, Krapovshchina, Kondratovka, and Varakino in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, defeated units of a motorized infantry brigade and an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Molovo and Volchansk in the Kharkiv region. The enemy lost up to 180 servicemen, an armored combat vehicle, 12 cars, and 2 field artillery guns. 3 warehouses of material resources were destroyed. Units of the West Troop Group took more advantageous lines and positions, defeated personnel and equipment of mechanized, assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements Malivka, Algavka, Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region, Petrovskoye in the Luhansk People's Republic, and Kirovsk in the Donetsk People's Republic. Losses of the Armed Forces of Ukraine amounted to over 220 servicemen, 2 armored combat vehicles, 15 cars, and 5 artillery guns, including 3 of Western manufacture. 5 electronic warfare stations and 2 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the South Troop Group improved their tactical position, defeated formations of mechanized, airmobile brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Stepanovka, Vasyokavka, Chervono, Minkovka, Seversky, Berstok, Peryezno, Markovo, Fedorovka, and Konstantinovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 220 servicemen, 4 armored combat vehicles, and 8 cars. 3 electronic warfare stations, an ammunition depot, and 5 warehouses of material resources were destroyed. Units of the Center Group of Forces have taken more advantageous lines and positions. Defeat inflicted on personnel and equipment of 3 mechanized, airborne assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a territorial defense brigade, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Teretskoye, Yudaknoye, Gruskoye, Sokoyar, Anavka, Dmitrov, Rodinskoye, Krasnoarmysk, and Krasny Lyman of the Donetsk People's Republic. Losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to up to 440 servicemen, 2 armored combat vehicles, 6 cars, and 4 field artillery guns. Units of the East Group of Forces advanced into the depth of the enemy's defense and established control over the settlement of Novosolovka in the Dnipropetrovsk region. In addition, the liberation of the territory of the Donetsk People's Republic in the area of operations of the East Group of Forces has been fully completed. Defeat inflicted on formations of 2 mechanized brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a Marine brigade in the areas of the settlements Gavrilovka, Novopavlovka in the Dnipropetrovsk region, Poltavka, Uspanovka, and Novoivanovka in the Zaporizhia region. The enemy lost over 240 servicemen, 13 vehicles, and a counter-battery radar station. Units of the Dnieper Group of Forces inflicted defeat on personnel and equipment of a mechanized brigade, a coastal defense brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements Belagori, Malayatok-Machka in the Zaporizhia region, Sadovo, Tyatjinka, and Antonovka in the Kherson region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost over 70 servicemen, 11 vehicles, 6 electronic warfare stations, and an ammunition depot. Operational Tactical Aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the groupings of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation inflicted defeat on Ukraine's transport infrastructure used in the interests of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, command posts and assembly points for long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, missile and artillery weapon depots, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 155 areas. Air defense means shot down 4 guided aerial bombs and 299 airplane-type unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, destroyed 666 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 81,599 unmanned aerial vehicles, 627 surface-to-air missile systems, 24,947 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,589 multiple launch rocket system vehicles, 29,229 field artillery guns and mortars, 41,021 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.